Okay, so we're going to take a look at a really kind of cool thing here. So Joe Bartnick is going to come in just seconds. And he can probably explain a little more what's going on in this Tommy Lee roast. But it's like it's on the beach or something. All these guys are wearing jackets. And I think it's Paul Rodriguez who introduces him. And Joe immediately started, obviously it's a roast, so he goes going right at Tommy Lee. But this is pretty cool. So when we come back, on the other side, Joe Bartnick, also from Puck Off. He's the co-host of that podcast. People want to see him. He's going to come in next. But first, here's a little of his work.
Thank you, Paul, very much, Paul. What an honor and a pleasure to be here tonight, everybody. Tommy Lee is now a green guy. He's Mr. Green, and that's hilarious. Because in the 80s, he used so much hairspray, they should name the ozone layer hole after him. The only thing Tommy Lee's ever done for the environment is make it rain at a strip club. What do we got? We got over there. We got nobody. What's his name? Exactly. Let's talk about Johnny. Johnny quit the Black Rose to join Train. What did he do? Leave his balls at the station? Train's an interesting name for a band that ain't gonna go anywhere. Diggity Dave, I'm so happy you're here, because I need my car washed. Who's the broad over there? Nina? I Googled you and Google said, who? When Tommy gets his natural burial, which of course he will do because he's a green man now, they will have to bury Tommy 7 feet under because he needs that extra foot.
So there you have it, the work of Joe on the beach roasting Tommy Lee. I don't care who you are. Dude, that is a cool gig to get something like that. Thanks so much for joining us here this
absolutely.
morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was so awesome hanging with you guys.
So what was the deal on that with the beach and Tommy Lee? Like, what was that show? Was that comedy time? What was that?
It was on like Discovery 9.
You couldn't make it to 8?
I know.
Come on, Joe.
You literally needed like the platinum ×5 package on DirecTV to get that channel. But he did a show because he was not spread out enough in the 90s, where he was doing like him and Ludacris were on 2 teams going around the country talking, North America probably, and talking about the environment.
See, I don't even remember that.
Exactly. I barely remember that.
Yeah. Other shit we remember about him, but it wasn't that part.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was on Team Ludacris, and we got to roast Tommy Lee and his crew, which was a lot of fun. But I think when it aired, I mean, we weren't allowed to swear anyway, but they really took the most basic, like Hallmark Channel level jokes, because a lot of it was pretty good that we did, and it was a lot of fun. I got to meet Tommy Lee and got to hang out and drink with him a couple times.
He seems like a pretty cool dude, though.
He's
he does.
a super cool dude.
Yeah.
He's real chill. I think because he's been famous for so long. You know those people? They're just like, they understand who they are.
It's because it's great when that happens. It's the newly famed guys who are like, give you that look. I'm like, oh, fuck, what are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like new money and old money.
Yeah, exactly. He did that show briefly, too, where Tommy Lee goes back to school, and he goes back to, like, I want to say it was a Cornhusker. I think it was Nebraska.
I think so, too.
He goes to Nebraska, and, of course, like he's a crazy good rock drummer. Like, he truly is a solid chops. But he goes in to play those triad drums, the tri drums. So it's the big harness you got to wear with the 3 tom-toms.
Yeah.
But the sticking on that, you don't just sit there and play like you do. You got to cross your hand. Like, there's a lot of this kind of stuff, ding, ding, dung, halftime stuff. And he keeps fucking hitting his hands. So he's getting pissed off. And so he walks. Because they're like, bah, 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 Tommy? Look, you, man. He just leaves. So it looks really aggressive. He goes to his English teacher. So I go, this ought to be good. And she's an older woman. But here's the thing about Tommy Lee, and I've never met him, but this is maybe what Pamela thought. She goes, well, first, he comes into the class, and I thought, here's a little bit of a rebellious man, but she looks at him and goes, but he's quite a good-looking man. I was like, have you seen the video? Like, that was a little creepy. But Joe, coming in here today, like as I said, people would know, obviously, the stand-up, but tell us about Puck Off. Tell us about the podcast.
Well, about coming up, this will be our 5th season when the season actually starts.
Awesome.
Fraser Smith, radio legend in L.A., he had an opportunity to do a hockey show on the Sideshow Network, and he always wanted to do a hockey show with me. So we just started doing it, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and Sideshow kind of fell apart. So we just do it out of my house now, or we go on location at the Ice House.
Because when I first saw some of your clips, and it's like, hey, I just came in from L.A. or I'm from L.A. I go, that's not an L.A. guy.
No, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I was going to say, that's an East Coast guy. I've ever seen an East Coast guy. Do you like L.A.? Is it?
Is this reach LA? Not
Oh,
really.
this goes everywhere.
Yeah, no, I don't really like LA. I'm not an LA person. It's funny you say that because you know the famous Big Al's hot beef in Chicago.
Yeah.
The guy goes, it was in a blizzard, and my friend Leia Ava took me there because I'm like, I gotta get there. We show up, and the guy goes, hey, where are you from? And I go, I'm from LA. He goes, you're not from LA.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I started comedy in San Francisco.
Right. So Penguins fan, you and I were talking off air. Big Penguins fan going way back.
When they wore blue.
Wow.
I
The
remember
first
Blues.
See,
Yeah.
and I like those jerseys.
Yeah, they're
I
the
like
powder
those
blues. The powder
jerseys.
blues.
I think you do because you're wearing a powder blue Charger shirt.
No. This is a CFL jersey.
Yes,
Oh,
it
I'm
is.
sorry.
I
Excuse me.
know. I know.
But this guy, one year, this number, he played for the LA Rams when Dickerson was the big running back. And this guy, who's originally from Alabama, his name is Dieter Brock.
Yeah.
It was like one of those weird movies like The Natural. No one understood where this guy comes from. And so that was John Robinson, who was coaching
Oh,
that
I remember
at the
Dieter
time.
Brock.
Yes,
That's
this
Dieter
is
Brock.
That's
Oh,
Dieter Brock.
my goodness. Is that his actual jersey?
Yeah. It's the same logo as the Washington Huskies. That's the W. If you don't know any
Winnipeg.
better, it's just Winnipeg. But
Yeah.
it's the same W on the back if you look at it. It's
the
Washington.
helmets have the big W too.
Yeah,
It's like if
okay.
you do a quick look, it's like, wait a second. No, it's a
hold on.
CFL team. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
they play tonight. They play the local Toronto team in Winnipeg tonight. So I thought I'd wear it. Just a coincidence. That's all. But
It's a
nonetheless,
nice jersey.
thanks, bud. Fun being a Penguins fan last couple of years. They're
It's
back on top, aren't they?
It's been an absolute blast last couple of years. I remember when they won in 2009, I was like, I'm good now for 10 years. I'm not going to complain. And then we had the Mike Johnson era.
Ugh.
And then literally right before they hired Sullivan, and all the people listening to the podcast know, I was on the bridge. I was like, oh my God, they're going to trade Malkin. I'm a Gino guy. Like, this is horrible.
That was a big rumor for a long time because
Yeah.
you can't keep sitting and Gino, right? It's like,
Well, it was like, it's not working.
no.
I mean, Chicago's won 3. LA's won 2.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to, they promised us Stanley Cups. We were promised this. This is the 3 Ray Shiro demanded. We get to get tons of cups. And then it fell apart. So there's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then all of a sudden we get Mike Sullivan. In Sullivan, we trust. And literally, Sullivan, if he's made 100 moves, 99 of them have been perfect.
Yeah, you can't take away when people say this. Yeah, coaching matters, and I know it's a phrase that people hear, but trust me, it does so much because literally, like, what was the difference in lineup from one to the other? I mean, of the changes that were made, I'm still saying the core of that team was the same. So what was the difference? It had to be coaching. Philosophically, he makes them defensively accountable. Where on the other side they weren't, and I'll be honest, in those playoff years where it got a little messy for the Penguins, you could smell it like sharks can smell blood in the water. You knew if you pressed them a little bit physically, if you got on these guys a little bit, you could roll them over. Worst thing in hockey of all time is that I know that if I keep pushing you in your own defensive end, eventually you're going to cough that thing up.
You're absolutely correct. They were not, I hate to use this phrase, but they were not mentally tough. Sullivan comes in, it's like a light switch went off. You couldn't push Sid around. They just went through people. I mean, Sid's attitude, whatever the thing about just play the game. Let them punch you in the face. Let them cross-check you. Just play the game. Then the whole team rose to that. And then they got like five or six rookies come in, especially guys like Brian Rust, and then Dumoulin came up and played, and then they got Trevor Daley. They just added speed. Hagelin was huge. They just got speed, and they started playing the game that we wish they would have played forever. And that's just forecheck, exciting hockey.
And people are all pissy here because Phil Kessel, when he left, was not popular. And there was the odd accusation and slight about his weight and his workout ethic.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm like, I'll tell you what, guys. When you have the kind of speed when he gets going and the shot that he has, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if his waistline went from a 32 to 36. They don't care if the puck goes in the net. And he was a valuable part of making that thing happen. And, to his credit, he came back to Toronto even though all the shit that was going on. He brings the Stanley Cup into, was it the sick kid?
Yeah,
Sick
Kids
Kids
Hospital in Toronto. Yeah.
So I'm like, you can hate him all you want, but the guy's kind of got 2 rings doing what he's supposed to do. He's not the face of a franchise. Like, he's not sitting there talking. He's not sitting. So what? So what? Not everybody is. And I thought it was a little unfair. I saw how it got a little ugly here, but you can't take away from what Phil did in Pittsburgh.
Oh, he's a folk hero in Pittsburgh. It's almost like they love him even more because he's hated here. It's like he's ours now.
Yeah.
We'll take him. Yeah, I mean, we love Phil, and that's another move was it made 3 lines, and no one had 3 lines. That was the thing. Last year's Stanley Cup was a wave of 3 offensive lines. Even the 4th line with Cullen chipped in. Nobody had that. No one can compete with that. Everything was rolling. It's like as soon as Sullivan came in, like about 2 weeks into it, it clicked, and they were not touched. Basically, they were down, 3-2 against Tampa Bay. I never had a bad feeling. I'm like, they're going to win this. Before Sullivan came, we were 0 for Game 7s.
Yeah.
We couldn't win a Game 7. Now it's like I want them. Like, bring on a Game 7. I can't wait for a Game 7.
That's not what they say in Washington. The Capitals. Oh my God! So where do they go
talk
now?
about coaching? You talk about coach. It's right there. I mean, Barry Trotz, can he win a big game? He can't. I mean, I always make fun of Barbecue Bruce. I love Barbecue Bruce. You find out it really wasn't his fault. Yeah. And I don't blame Ovechkin either, because you know what? Ovechkin was great, and he never had defense, and he never had a well-rounded lineup, and until Holtby, he never had a goaltender. Only the last couple years has it really been, okay, they choked. Before that, it's like it was just the American media saying, oh, what's Ovechkin doing? Ovechkin doesn't have a team.
What do you think happens this year? What happens to Washington this year?
I think they're going to fade away a little bit because they don't have the talent anymore. I mean, I personally would have tried to move Backstrom. I wouldn't have gave Oshie, the city of Washington, D.C. I love Oshie, but that was way too big of a contract.
Heavy term.
Yeah, and even Kuznetsov, like, he's good, but he's not, like, that good. I mean, let somebody win it. Let someone get to the conference finals before you give them $8 or $9 million a year.
Yeah, crazy money.
One last Penguins question. We'll move on to other teams because I know you don't just talk about Penguins. Because I like the Jets.
Welcome
That's
to
why.
Penguins corner, then we'll get the Jets corner. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Jets.
Now, I'm a big fan of Jaromir Jagr. Would you like to see Jaromir go back to Pittsburgh, sign the 1-year deal? You're going to get him for cheap, and he's going to be in a Penguins uniform again, where I think, being a Penguins outsider, not the Penguin insider you are, I'd be happy with that because that's what I grew up with, long hair flowing at the back in the early 90s. I'd love to see Jagr back. Agree or disagree?
100% agree. This is how much I love Jaromir Jagr. I would. It's almost like Sophie's Choice. Do I want a 3-peat or do I want Jagr to come back?
See,
that's how much I love Jaromir Jagr.
I'm a gambler, and if someone had told me Sophie's Choice reference over under, I'm going under on that one. I'm gonna be honest, Joe. I never saw that one coming.
Yeah, I love Jagr. I mean, it was one of my rants, like, every year. Anytime the Penguin fans would boo Jagr, or I'm like,
I don't get that.
Jagr is now he's probably 4th. But until 2 months ago, he was the 2nd greatest Penguin ever, and it wasn't close.
Yeah.
And he's still loved by me. I mean, twice Jagr saved the franchise. Twice he saved the franchise.
So you got Gino Malkin ahead of Jagr?
He has 3 cups.
Yeah, but it's Jaromir Jagr.
I know, but you just have
because you got Lemieux, Sidney. I'm guessing are 1-2.
Yeah,
and because Jagr would be my 3.
Well, I'm a Gino guy, and
you are a big Gino guy.
And
Even yesterday when we were talking,
and Gino's still on the team,
right.
So I'm going to say he's 3.
Okay,
that's
fair. And now you got Wrecking Ball too, who's part of the Hall of Fame. He's number 5, right?
My grandma's favorite player, and then he got traded for Tocchet.
Yes.
And now Rick has 1 as a player, 2 as a coach. He went to Arizona, and Tocchet actually saw me do stand up, and he's a fan of mine, and so I love Rick Tocchet.
He's a good guy.
He's a great coach.
Toronto guy.
Oh, he's from Toronto.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's. I mean, how about 2 goals after getting a broken jaw?
Yeah,
they didn't even know his jaw was broken. Jagr saw him bleeding in his bed. They were roomies.
Wow.
He's like, Dickie, what's wrong with your face? It's bleeding.
Oh, boy.
Well, he knew he had a broken jaw, but I guess the Chicago doctor was a quack or whatever.
Sure.
Just like, go back in the game.
See, that's a good hockey story. It's like, what's wrong here? Let me try to put it, I mean, and if you talk it, you're going out, you've won what you can, you've done it as a player, to coach, and now I'm in Phoenix now. Let's go out there, boys. Do people know what offside is? No? Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. I'll be golfing. Like, I don't blame them.
I think Tockett's going to make a heck of a coach out there because, he is the young guys that can do it. What's funny is, Tippett just suffered and suffered and suffered. As soon as he leaves, they get Ranta, Stepan, and they get Dramosin. Dramosin is a great defenseman. I mean, the best number 3 defenseman in hockey.
It's still going to take some time out there. But you know what? For him, good. Challenge, sunshine, pools. I mean, you don't have the pressure of anything out there because the hockey is just, if they make the playoffs or whatever. I mean, it's just, and again, I'm not one of these guys that, if it's a non-traditional hockey market, being snobby Canadian saying, well, this isn't.
Right.
I said, well, you got to go down there. Like I heard people, because I used to go to Dallas like 3 times a year because I love Dallas, and people are like, well, do you have to explain hockey in Dallas? You mean the team that's won a cup? No.
Yeah.
No, they pretty much got that down. And by the way, half the city at the time when Nortel went down there, half of them were Canadian. I said, they play pickup hockey in and around the city like crazy. I said, they love their hockey down there. It's unfair. Now, some markets, Arizona, whenever you hear a story, click, I've had enough. Up here, when we hear about the legals and the leases and so on, out. If we start talking about what? Who else in that category? Carolina to a degree?
Yeah.
You start hearing about Carolina,
Florida
we're
Panthers.
like, Panthers, click. It's just how we are here. At some point, we don't want to hear it.
Well, I have a soft spot for Carolina because of Captain Ronnie Francis.
Well,
There's another Penguins
there's
reference.
that, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I have a soft spot to them because I think they belong in Hartford, not Carolina.
oh, absolutely.
That's where I
See,
fit
that
in.
would be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's gonna. I can't.
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm all for having more traditional markets, but it does. I mean, it's working in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
It's they're shoving it down our throats about Nashville at working.
Yes, they are.
I like it working in Arizona because you know what? I go to Arizona Coyote games to see teams I want to see instead of going to the Ducks. Because by the time I sit in traffic to go to Orange County, I'm halfway to Arizona. I StubHub. Sid and Gino were both hurt about 5 years ago, and I StubHub $5 seats behind the penalty box.
$5.
$5. Me and my buddy went. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And Mark Letestu scored the game winner in the shootout.
Not that you remember or anything.
When Letestu's on the top 3 in the shootout, people are hurt.
Yeah.
But he's doing well in Edmonton. I thought Edmonton getting Juicy was a great move. I mean,
And cheap.
I know, and cheap.
Yeah.
And then I'm a Leon Draisaitl guy, man. Leon.
What do they pay that guy? If Connor makes what he makes at 12.5, he's there for the next decade. What does Leon ask for? I got a number.
If I was him, I'd take 9.5.
Yeah. It has to be under 10 because you got to be responsible too, right?
Yeah. Well,
Pete
Chiarelli, that's what he's got on his plate.
Yeah, that's why he's making the big bucks.
That's why. I mean, and look, there are those who thought that when he goes there that that he wasn't going to have the same kind of success as we saw in Boston. I'm like, but that wasn't a fluke in Boston. It's got like Dale Talon, the guys who put some of these teams together. You give them some time, a Jim Nill, all these kinds of guys. They're winners. They came from winning. They got a bit of a blueprint in their head. They're going to get it done. I'm not surprised about Edmonton at all.
Well, look what happened to Boston when he left.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Don Sweeney. That's why I think when you hire, it's with Sakic. Like, you better if you're going to hire a legend, he better be great because then it gets very awkward.
Well,
I mean,
remember those faces Wayne used to make behind the bench when he was in Phoenix? Those were not good faces. That wasn't on the box of alphabets or whatever they had going on. That was not that face.
But the thing is, how does Leon? Does he take less money to be a good guy, or does he say, you know what, I'm one of the top 5 players in the world in a couple of years when some of this generation leaves, and he goes and starts his own franchise and becomes the guy.
We've got Joe Bartnick, by the way, in studio here on rawmike.richards.com, watching us on the dedicated YouTube channel, and, of course, on rawmike.richards.com. Download the podcast on iTunes. And if you want more of Joe, obviously you're going to download this, but, of course, they can go to Puck Off.
Yeah, Puck Off. Hockey talk every week. We do about an hour. We're in summer programming. You'll get a kick out of this because we're in summer program right now. Next week, I was so incensed that Evgeny Malkin did not make the top 100 of all time.
This is upsetting for you. I know it's upsetting.
It's very upsetting to me. So, and I looked down at, there's 80 players I'm not going to complain about, and maybe even 90. What do they belong? Then I saw Adam Oates was on the list. So I came up with a list of 100 players not on the list that are better than Adam Oates. And there's some debate, but we have a good time with it.
Would make Adam 200 overall.
Yeah, exactly.
Not part of the 100.
Well, it's like, if you're in a game 7, Who do you want? You want this guy or you want Adam Oates?
Yeah.
A lot of think Dino Ciccarelli.
Mm-hmm.
Rather have Dino Ciccarelli.
600 plus goals.
Dow Howard Chuck.
That was
Rather
our-
have
yeah.
Dow Howard Chuck.
Don't get him started on Dale Howard Chuck. There's a strangeness that you don't know about.
Yeah. Hey, while we're here with that too, you're here in Toronto at Absolute Comedy right in through until Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
And apparently, you're living in Canada for the next month or so.
I'm here for the birthday party. I love parties, so I'm like, why not go to the biggest party in North America? And then I'm in Kingston.
That's right.
And
I
then
thought it was
I'm in
Kingston, Ottawa. Right?
Ottawa.
Yeah, that's right.
Kingston, home of Doug Gilmore.
That's what I heard. The Tiger.
Yeah, Dougie Gilmore. Now, here's something, too. So you were in Calgary for how many years? A couple of years?
2 years. 2 years.
So I did the sports morning show out there for like 5.5, 6 years. And so I got to know the Sutters pretty good.
I was going to say you probably had to Sutter every morning.
Always. Well, no, he wouldn't be coming on every morning, Daryl. He's not getting up every morning. But
he got screwed.
But I know the family well, and I know what Daryl's all about. I was really happy for him to see him win 2 cups in L.A. And I think people, just because they call it the sour beer face, because that pretty much goes on. But he's a really funny guy, a really sarcastic guy. I mean, we know him well enough where I used to laugh at the press conferences because people would ask these questions, and he'd be like, and I thought, what? The last guy I think who was an L.A. kind of guy is the guy who was a Viking. Isn't that what they're originally from?
Yep, Viking, Alberta.
A Viking rodeo because he loves rodeo. A real Albertan, a real Midwest, the kind of guy. And there he is because I saw him with a tan. I go, Daryl Sutter's got a tan in L.A. I guess they just had that cycle of what they felt they went through in L.A. and said, okay, you know what? I guess we just got to tear this thing down.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on the whole what happened to the Kings. That's my mistress team,
Yeah.
and I actually saw them win the cup live. Like I saw
That's
the
cool.
cup on the ice,
Yeah.
and I was so happy for Daryl because I figure Thanksgiving's got to be rough when you go back and some of the brothers have cups and some of them don't. So it's got to get now he can sit at the cup table. He's not at the non-cup table.
Yeah, and then they spent the rest of the evening wrestling. I think that's what happens. That's the family.
Like the Hart Foundation,
Yeah.
the Sutters in the basement.
There you go.
So I was just so happy for him but then this year, I think I basically blame Lombardi. I would have got rid of Lombardi. Sutter, if you want to make a change, okay. I didn't think it was his fault. I just didn't think it's. I mean, Kopitar. We picked our all dog team this week. Kopitar was terrible. I don't know who ripped the C off of Dustin Brown. That was a disgrace. Toffoli, it was funny because we had Bernie Nichols on, and he said Toffoli's going to be
awesome.
He said Toffoli's going to be down this year because when he had Luch on his line, he was 5 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier.
Sure.
He had a lot of payback coming, and you saw. I mean, Carter played amazing this year. Carter saved the Kings. They would have been, in. I'm not going to say Colorado level, but they'd have been like Arizona level if it wasn't for Carter. Carter and Pearson. After that, everyone stunk. Dowdy had a down year. It wasn't the goaltending, and I think they just got too slow. They've never replaced Voynov. That's on Lombardi. They've never replaced Voynov.
Yeah, if you don't have, I mean, look, the NHL still, as much as we called it after the last what do they call it, a strike or stoppage or whatever it was, when and they get rid of the clutch and the grab and they start to become a little more track meet ish. You start to get better with pace. But you've got to find that balance between the pace and still having Dave and Joe, I would say, enough physical presence to get that done. But if you're missing one or the other, the league is too good. And if you have no wheels at all, it's just like we talked to Guy Carbonneau about scoring goals. It's great that you can stop them all, but at some point someone's got to do that one thing. And if you don't have that player, I think you lose.
Well, that's kind of my thing about Daryl. Was I thought that. I'm not going to say that. I don't think the Bill Parcells line. Like I don't think he wasn't allowed to pick the groceries to make the dinner. So I don't think
that's good. Was that a Parcell? I didn't realize. That's good.
I don't think he had all the right talent to do it, but maybe the game has passed him by a little bit. Everyone scores on the rush now. With Gabrick being slowed down and Toffoli being down, they weren't scoring on the rush at all. And then they weren't scoring they weren't grinding well enough to score either. So maybe the game had passed Darrow by a little bit. I would have given him another year.
Yeah.
But I can see where it was time for a change. But then go for somebody younger or go for new. They just brought in Stevens. He was on the coaching staff. Like if you're going to do that, just keep Daryl.
Yeah,
that's what I didn't understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
not even a new voice. It's the same voice you've heard for the last 5 years because he's been right beside Daryl the entire time.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Vegas. Yay or nay, we're big fans of the Golden Knights, and we want to go down to Vegas and do everything we do in Vegas and do a hockey game.
And I'm disgusting, so anytime Vegas
Well,
comes
please
up,
let
I'm
me be a
like,
guest.
Oh, yeah. You can come to go, who is the worst person who's staying currently right now? Where's Richard staying? Yeah, he's at the and it'd be like a garbage hotel. It'd be the one. It'd be on what's the street? It's not on the main drag.
You want to go Old Vegas then?
Fremont.
Yeah, Fremont.
Yeah, he's on. Look for the flies. That's what Richard's is.
When I was filming a television show in Vegas, they were so sick of me at the Planet Hollywood, they shut off my HD. So I had every channel except the HD channels. They couldn't throw me out because
So you're watching Jackie Gleason at night. You're watching some. Well, I was
Yeah,
going to say the
Honeymooners.
Cosbys, but that's a different show now. That's Dr. Huxtable. I was wearing pants when I came in here.
Is Vegas going to be the worst team in the league next year?
Well, what's funny is I thought they would. I thought that they would be better than Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or Arizona.
Yeah, well, whoever they're called, yeah.
Until they got Jarmelson, Ronta, and
Yeah.
Stepan. Now I'm like, wow, that they upgraded there.
Yeah.
I don't understand kind of the long game that he's playing. I think some of the defensemen he traded away, like I would have kept my thought.
Sure.
You know, some of the guys like he turned over, I kind of would have kept. I liked his picks. I mean, Fleury's going to keep him in a lot of games.
Both goaltenders are good. Even the backup, Pickett's pretty decent too.
I was shocked they didn't take Rene. I'm sorry, not Rene. I'm sorry, Ronta.
Ronta.
I thought they would take Ronta.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Well,
Exactly.
who were
with
we
the
pushing
Rangers.
for? We were pushing for was it? No, not Yager. Who do we think would go be one of the sort of poster? And Bernie Nichols, or one of the sort of disagreed with. I thought it was one of those veteran guys coming in.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, maybe it was.
'Cause
Was
I know-
it Shane Doan? Was it Doan that we were talking about?
Yeah, I flew out the
Yeah.
idea to Bernie Nichols when we had him on the show that Shane Doan, okay, he wants to go to a winner. Vegas obviously isn't going to be a winner,
Yeah.
but I don't know if Shane Doan's fast enough to make a contribution to a Stanley Cup winner. Maybe that's on me thinking that Shane Doan doesn't have enough gas in the tank. I looked at Shane Doan maybe as a role player, as the captain of the Vegas team, to kind of teach what is a young group, how it is to be an NHLer, how it is to act like an NHLer, and have Shane Doan run that team as far as the dressing room presence is concerned. After that, you graduate him into the front office. He turns into another Brendan Shanahan type guy. I just don't know if Shane Doan, in my opinion, if Shane Doan goes to a Penguins team, makes a contribution to actually help the Penguins win another Stanley Cup, or a team like the Penguins that are battling for a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane Doan makes the Penguins.
See, that's what I'm
Like
getting
Shane
at.
Doan's
Yeah.
not going to play on. I mean,
I love Shane Doan, former Winnipeg Jet draft pick. Okay, like I don't have.
I
an
knew there was a
argument
tie
with
there
him.
somewhere.
No, seriously. Like, I mean, look at Iginla.
Yes.
Iginla's still out there in the market,
Yeah.
and he didn't make it. I mean,
No.
he played pretty good for the Kings, but he's not making a difference.
A couple steps behind.
I mean, I would see Iginla maybe as a Vegas player,
Right.
because he can pay me sell a few tickets. Yager would sell a few tickets,
But
that's what I thought
don't
Yager
understand where
Yager would
Yager.
own Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm just following, man. I'm just following as he's casting them off. I'm over here. I'm over here.
Yager would end up owing money. He'd be playing for free. But like you wonder why, like Ronnie wouldn't take Yogs.
Yeah.
Sell some tickets in Carolina. They're old line mates.
Interesting.
That's what's funny is like I just think every team could use Yager.
Yes.
Like
Oh.
every single team.
I mean, even still around the net.
Yeah.
He still kind of bitches those guys. He's got good hands. He dominates down low like that.
when he swings his butt off the wall,
Yes.
he's still Jaromir Jagr. And I'll tell you, all the controversy in my country about Russia and all this, the biggest Russian disgrace in the last 50 years would be if he goes back to the KHL and doesn't play
I
the
hope
NHL
I
this
don't
season.
see that.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, someone's got him, or if someone gives him a tryout contract, don't insult Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
I'm asking all
Living
of Canada.
legend.
Yeah,
Living legend.
yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Like he's got to finish on a team, a successful team. I mean, look, it's always storybook if it is a Stanley Cup, but he can't finish with the Yulielov Solovat out of Ufa in the Ural Mountains.
Well,
Not that he wouldn't do well in that town too. I think there'd be other young girls that go,
Well, I think he is going to end up there at the very, very, very. I mean, he's not going to not play. Someone's going to give him a contract when
I
he's
see him more
when
going
he's
back-
50. When he's 55, he's going to be playing in some town.
Yeah, you know what? In that situation, he goes back to the Czech Republic. I bet you plays for a hometown team.
Right, but I think his dad owns a
Yes,
team, right?
exactly.
I mean, he's never gonna quit.
Yeah.
But on the level, he can still play. He has to play. But Vegas, I mean, I think they're going to be right around pretty good, and then fade in the last month.
Now, do you play Vegas? When you're traveling, when you're doing
Every
shows?
now and then, yeah, I do. Yeah.
What's that like for you?
Vegas is okay. It's hard to. It's when I open for Bill Burr or when I open for Lampanelli that I make enough money that I can play Vegas.
So you were
when I play by myself, it's like I end up I'm like breaking even.
Well, you mentioned too. I'm a huge Bill Burr fan. I think most people are.
I think so.
And it's funny when you came on and I said I saw some of your work beforehand, and I said, well, number one, he's not an LA guy, he's an East Coast guy, and if he's an East Coast guy, I didn't know Pittsburgh, but if you had more of an accent, I'm saying, Boston guy wouldn't be that far of a stretch. And then when I saw that you were with Burr, who slays me. I mean, he does so much. But Lisa Lampanelli too. It's interesting. When people, if they're not comedy people, they don't really kind of know what you're talking about. They're like, well, what's her material like? Well, imagine Rickles as a chick, and then way more graphic, way more. But it's done with the same kind of love and spirit of just having some fun. Don't take it seriously.
Absolutely.
She's just having fun, but she's going to get to everybody, every color, every race, every sexual orientation. But you're at a comedy club. You're just supposed to fucking laugh. It's just supposed to be, shits and giggles. That's
right.
all. And some people just, they just never go to a comedy club, never listen to him because she, of all people, and then she went on. Remember, she went on Trump's
yes,
the Apprentice thing.
I completely remember because I lost 3 months of work because she did the television show.
Yeah.
I'm still paying for that, or I'm not. With Visa.
What's she like to work with?
She's the most amazing person to me. She couldn't be nicer. I call her the Queen. That's my name. Her name's the Queen to me, but I just call her the Queen. And she was just super great to me, and I have nothing but respect and love. I mean, she was the best. I stayed in. I mean, I'm a middle class Pittsburgh kid. I got to stay in 6-star hotels. I was in a hotel here in Toronto where the floor, it was the bathroom floor was heated.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. There's a TV in I'm taking a dump. There's a television. There's the TV in the bathroom that they shine your shoes. Leave your shoes outside. They shine. I'm like, this is. She just showed me a different life. I got to ride in the big car for a while.
And Bill Burr, who he even showed up in Breaking Bad, a couple of scenes in there.
Yeah, I missed
part.
all of that.
Yeah.
I'm not a TV guy, and once I get behind, it's it's on season 2. I'm never gonna watch it. That's just homework. I didn't do good in school. That's why I do this.
Yeah. So why do you, so why do you do this? Because comedy is not for everybody. People say, "What's it like?" They talk about that. I said, "Look, either you're wired for it, and you live for that. Either that 7 minutes that you're doing, or if they give you 10 or God forbid 15, which actually in that business that's kind of long. Why this?
It's really the only thing I can do. Except maybe talk some hockey. I'm getting too old to bartend. So what am I going to do? And I'm too old to work construction now. No, I just always wanted to do it. And now this is my 20th year. I really can't do anything else. This is my lot in life. This is the business we have chosen. So up or down, I just love it. What's funny you say about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. The first time I ever got paid to do comedy, it was on the internet. They were filming it live at the Punchline in San Francisco, and they got to do 7 minutes. I told the booker, I don't have 7 minutes.
And people think, I said, trust me, when you're on that stage, click, tick, talk. Right. 7 minutes, all of a sudden you get to your best stuff and you're 2.5 minutes in.
Right. Well, this is funny. So when you tell people people young comedy, I can do an hour. Well, how much can you do when nobody's laughing? Oh, that's how much time you really have.
I had to do one time. So I'm working at the Fan years ago, and I started off at Yuck Yucks chain when I was a kid in high school. So I'm doing the stuff, doing a bunch of impressions, blah blah blah. And they said, look, Don Cherry's going to be there. All this. Ron McClain is going to do this thing, and it was at Don Cherry's Grapevine on Kingsway.
When he had restaurants,
yeah. So it's packed, right? It's just packed. A bunch of 100 people, and there's Don and everyone out there. So I'm the co-host of the morning shows. They get a lot of the voices that I do. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go and work on routine, see how far I get. And so I'm doing these voices, and you're just doing it. And you're walking around, and I had the timer on, and I look at it, and it goes 17.5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, 45. I end up doing 45.
Right.
But 45. You got to come up if you're a headliner 45 every one. I don't know how often you got to write. I mean, you got to do a lot of writing. And now with the internet, now when they can see your gigs,
Right.
sometimes these people have seen your stuff already. That's a whole new thing for comics now. Before, no one. I mean, you could do London and Kingston or whatever one night. But if someone does that show, and you show up and you're in Ottawa, they're like, oh yeah, here comes the airplane peanuts routine or whatever it is.
Right.
You know, that's
Right.
hard.
I never worry about that because I kind of change it up, not like my overall act as much as I like to, but I always riff and kind of screw around and change up the order. I don't think you can worry about that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't worry about people seeing because I try to make it fresh for myself every night.
Yes.
So then hopefully it's fresh for them every night. I mean,
how-
because then you see. I'm sorry, but then because then you see people that come like, oh, we were here like 3 nights in a row, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't want to be here 3 nights in a row. So some people don't care. I don't know what I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So Absolute Comedy. How long are you? What's your stand up routine? How long is it?
It's 40 minutes on the weekends. Tonight, the weeknights, I'm just doing 20 because they're doing the comedy competitions,
Oh,
yeah.
and I'm kind of closing after like the comedy competition, they kind of throw me up there to give them a headliner. But the kids, or some of them are older than me, doing the competition are really, really funny.
Good.
It's really great to see like guys. Nothing funner in comedy than to see new people you haven't seen before be really funny.
But you also bring up a good point too. You get the new stuff, but then there's sometimes because you just like the guy's personality, his persona, when he comes on stage. For me, it's guys like Nick DiPaolo comes on.
I love Nick DiPaolo.
So I know he's going to be in a shit mood. He's going to be talking about stuff. He's fucking mad about this and these people and this guy fucked him. So I'm sitting there. I could go 2 nights in a row just because Nick DiPaolo's going on and he's ripping everything.
Right.
He's angry about everything. Angry about sandwiches. It doesn't matter. I love those guys. There's and David Tell. David Tell, I'm in tears. I can barely even.
It tells the king. It tells the king. He's to me like Ian Bagg, Canadian. Ian Bagg.
I heard the name, but
Ian Bagg.
Ian Bagg. Yeah,
I don't know if I
he
know.
actually played junior hockey. He's the best comedy. When we play comedy hockey in LA, he's the best by far. He's he's like Messier.
Wow.
I had 2 goals in like 2 minutes. The whole rest of the game, he's just cross-checking me in the back. He's like, you're not going to get a hat trick, Bartnick. You're not getting a hat trick. You're not getting a hat trick. And just flattening me.
Well, we got to look that up then, too.
Ian Bagg's great. I forgot what I was going to say. David Tell. Ian Bagg says, if David Tell's not your favorite comic, I can't be your friend.
That's a great line.
Yeah. And even Burr, it tells the king.
He's
the
amazing.
king. He's the king.
No, Jeremy Hotz, who's been on the show a bunch of times.
Great guy.
Yeah, Jeremy's.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Again, another guy where don't look for the uplifting stories. Because, but we saw him at Massey Hall down here, and he just killed. I mean, and that is the thing of beauty, watching a comic who comes out and just crafts it in such a way that you're just dying. Now, there's certain guys that when Sebastian Maniscalco, when he first comes out, I wasn't sure what to expect, and now he's huge. Jim Gaffigan is TV big now.
Yeah, Gaffigan's ridiculous. He's so funny. Well, so is Sebastian. I'm a fan of comedy too.
Yeah,
I'm not a player hater.
Yeah.
I love all kinds of
that's
funny
good.
stuff and everything.
You were talking about playing hockey, ice hockey, and I never call it ice hockey. I don't know why the hell I just called it ice hockey. You're playing hockey casually, rec. How long are you doing that for? Once, twice a week, or?
I was until I had triple hernia surgery. We were playing every Monday.
Okay.
We were playing every Monday, and I got my skating was okay then. I have sweet hands.
Okay.
But I
So you're
cannot
like
skate at all.
Dave Anderchuk. It's a nice big size. Sweet hands around the neck. Can't skate a lick.
No, exactly. I cannot skate a lick. I'm always. I have to play the games where it's like whenever people get competitive and they start calling off sides. That's when I can't play the game. That's when the league got too good for me. You're always. I'm always offside. Like I can't touch up. It's like then I'm never gonna be in the game. So because I played street hockey my whole life in Pittsburgh. Because before Lemieux there was 2 sheets of ice.
Yeah.
Lemieux comes now. There's it's like Starbucks. There's an ice rink everywhere.
What's the pecking order in Pittsburgh? I'm guessing Steelers are number 1.
Let me tell you 2 things. One is Lemieux
Really
is bigger than all of the Steelers individually.
No, you're a hockey guy, though.
That's
No.
gonna cost
Joe,
us
you're a
twice.
hockey guy.
No.
I love Mario Lemieux, too, but really Terry Bradshaw, guys like that?
Lemieux has done more than maybe except for Andrew Carnegie, with all of his cancer research,
Oh,
all the
yeah,
hospitals
okay,
he's
for
built.
sure.
How
Yeah.
he is,
Dealt with
he is loved at a level like he is loved.
See, that's a good point because you're transcending just sport. You're saying the city itself.
Yes,
Society.
Yeah, Lemieux is. I never thought anything would be bigger than that. He's bigger than this. The Steelers are like the Catholic Church in Pittsburgh. Like everyone just accepts it, and that's what they are.
You know the Saints and Franco Harris
Right,
and Rocky
yeah.
Blyer.
Yeah,
and,
like the '70s Steelers.
Yes.
That's like the Catholic
Yeah.
Church. But and this is the truth. A lot of those people are dying out, or it's more national. Like all the steelworkers have moved out in the '80s. Like they're everywhere. The Steelers in Pittsburgh right now. I know I haven't lived there. They're the undercurrent. The 35 and under. The Penguins are a bigger team.
Really?
Because they grew up with like Lemieux and then Yager and okay down a little bit and then Sid and Gino and like it's and there's rinks everywhere and you could get tickets to Penguins. You can't get Steeler tickets.
Right.
I mean you can't get season tickets or whatever. You can get scalp. So people just like hockey is always the accessible sport.
Now, what about for you in LA? What happens if the Lake Show becomes the Lake Show again, and LeBron comes over, and Paul George comes over, and Lonzo's there? Does that interest you at all? Or you're not a bad. You could care less?
I used to watch Kobe all the time. You just turn on the game after the East Coast NHL games. It's about 7:30. You turn over. Phil looks down the bench, whistles. Kobe comes off the bench, scores 9 of the last 13, and they win. After Kobe left, I haven't seen one Laker game.
Okay.
Would you be enticed by a LeBron and a Paul George and
Paul George? I wouldn't know who he was if he walked in here.
But LeBron, LeBron.
Yeah, I'd be interested in watching LeBron. I'm not a LeBron hater. I get sick of the hype, but when guys are good guys and don't beat their wives and don't get in trouble and they live up to the like Sid.
Amen.
And they live up
absolutely.
to the hype. How can you hate him?
Yeah,
I
agree.
And his rejection against Golden State last finals, it was like, oh, okay. Like, and that's why I thought they were going to win again this year. But I loved Durant when he was in Texas. But Durant was just so good this year. But I thought there's only one ball. You still have to beat LeBron. And they did, so hats off to the
It's
Warriors.
funny, you can probably relate to this. They go in such. Was that Rick Barnes coaching that Longhorn team? I'm not sure if it was or not.
I think so. Or was it Prentice maybe or Penders? Tom Penders. Was it
You know
Tom
what? And they got destroyed in their first game in the tournament. It was either the first or second game. That was Kevin's team, and I was looking at it. Of course, I've got all my research because I love college ball. It's like one of my favorite things. And so here's the dance, and I got Texas going from here to here to here, and they just. His team gets destroyed. In the first half. Like they literally might have scored like 7 points. Like I've never. It's just one of those things that happens in college ball. And there it is, the half, and it's like 45-12. It was a massacre.
Well, that's how great Durant was, though. He got that crap coach a Big 12 title. Like he won the Big 12 by himself. Like that's how good he was. I remember he stole the ball off his own teammate when took a shot one time. Like, no, you're not shooting that. No, and you talk about a guy that got crap for no reason. I mean, he just wanted to go to it's not his fault they left Seattle and put him in a cow town.
Yeah.
They should still be in Seattle. I mean, you talk about, the Hurricanes being a disgrace.
Amen.
The Oklahoma Thunder are a disgrace.
Yeah.
That should be Seattle.
That's the
and I can't wait for Seattle to get a team. Then I might move to Seattle.
Love the Pacific Northwest. I love it.
I don't like Portland. I like Seattle.
Port a little dirty for you? Too dirty?
Everyone there looks like they got off a Greyhound. It's
true.
a JV
And-
city. It's
yeah.
a JV city.
And you got a lot of the hipsters there now, and you got a lot of shit going on where maybe it's annoying. I lived in Eugene for a year, and that was a very good year where Bill Walton's Trailblazers win, right? So this was the 76-77. So
oh my God,
Yeah.
you look so
yeah,
young.
Yeah, I loved being there. I loved being there. Seattle SLU one. It was all Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
I was running
Gus-
on Steve
Gus
Prefontaine's trail. Running on Pre's trail. The whole thing was okay. Here's a great story. My dad, track coach, collegiate coach, all kinds of sports, and I'm running with my hockey jersey on because I only lived there for a year. So I got the hockey jersey on, goalie number 1, and I got some weird sweatpants on. In comes this sort of little Latino guy running on Pre's trail because it's miles and miles and miles of these beautiful free trails done in the name of Steve Prefontaine, who was a premier runner, dies suddenly in a car accident. It was terrible. So Pre's trail, everyone runs on it. So there I am, long, great flow, the very, I don't know, like I could be in Slaughter, one of those bands. That's what I look like. I'm in 8th grade. And I'm, running and think I'm doing pretty good. This little Latino guy comes running by, and my dad's running, and he goes, "Excuse me," as the guy's running, "could my son run with you?" "Yes, okay, if you can keep up." Alberto Salazar.
Whoa.
Bye. What, the hockey jersey wasn't a big selling that? I mean, one of the greatest winners of all time, but I loved Eugene. Eugene was cool. That's why I'm a Duck fan. I'm
Okay.
still Oregon Ducks guy. Now, what about football for you? What is football for you on the West Coast? Or are you still allegiance to the Steelers?
Oh yeah, I mean the Steelers are. It's it's the Steelers. That's why I said they're like the Catholic. I mean it's like I might not go every Sunday, but I'm not joining a different church. Well, I worked for the NFL on Fox for a year, and so I was into football, and then I always got the DirecTV package. But then I just got sick of being in airports on Sunday. You can't not find out the Steelers score.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So I'm like, I don't want to just have the package and then come home and see the game. I already know the score. And also the Steelers, until we got teams in LA, I'd say only like 3 games aren't on national TV or weren't on TV in LA. Maybe like a Browns game at 9 a.m. or something. But like every other game, because you pick whatever the best game is, and channel LA, channel 11 or whatever, would always just have the Steelers on.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Because I never had to really have the package anymore. So I watch all the games. It's gonna be tough when Big Ben leaves. I'll tell you. I'm a Big Ben guy, and all the I don't know anything as allegations, but the fact that the Steelers kind of turned their back on him really made me sick. Because if that was Jerry Jones's team, if that was Jerry Jones' quarterback, he would have had OJ's defense team out there protecting them.
But I always say about Big Ben, and we talk about it. Sean Salisbury, who sometimes joins us on the show, I said, look, whatever the we do conversations, but if you're asking me about a quarterback that has to get things done within that pocket, and I said I always say he's a way better athlete than people understand, and he takes a lot of pain. You're punching him in the face, you're breaking his hands, whatever. He's got blood coming down. He still goes out and makes the throw. He can still manage that pocket maybe better than almost any guy I can think of. I think he is that good. People get into, well, what about this? What do I said? I can't speak to that. I wasn't there. I don't know. And what was the one that he went to a university and went in one of the bars or something? I go, me talking about that? Me pointing the finger? I just told a girl last night I was in medical school. You know what I'm talking? I mean, it's not about me. I don't know about that. But Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, wow, I'll tell you, he's some kind of quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, up until a couple years ago, I would have taken him over anybody to win a game in the NFL. The last couple of years, he's kind of slipped in some big games. He hasn't had the best games in big games. Yeah. But until then, and let me tell you, nobody since the 70s has taken a beating like God. Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, yeah. He lets the first defensive tackle hit him, and then he rolls off and then throws a pass. I mean, he has had no offensive line for a long time. And I just love the guy as a quarterback, and it's just fantastic. I don't know what kind of season we're going to have because – we need a number 2 and 3 receiver because Antonio Brown can't do everything. I mean, he's too busy dancing and making rap albums.
And going on Facebook Live.
Yeah, kind of like Russell. Our buddy Russell is doing the same thing. It's very annoying. I'd be sick about that. So, Joe, tell us where you're going to be and how people can hear you and see you, all the things you're doing.
I'll be at Absolute Comedy in Toronto this week. I'm bad with numbers. I don't know the dates. And then next week, I will be at Absolute Kingston. And the week after that, I'll be in the last week in July. I will be at Absolute in Ottawa.
Okay.
And I heard all these clubs are fantastic. One Toronto's fantastic. Come on down. You guys should come down. Yeah. I'll put you on the list. Then Puck Off is for hockey fans. And I'm at joebartnick.com. It's like a pretty dated website. I mean, it looks, it's just my dates and stuff. I don't even know. I don't even see, so I never check it out.
We certainly want to keep in touch. It's been fantastic here today.
This is so great, Mike. This is awesome stuff. So please, good. Anytime. Let's hit Vegas together.
I don't know if you want that.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, I've seen the little guy in here before. No, as in guys pointing at me. That's the guy who tried that thing with that. Yeah. Sir, we don't do that here.
Let's get flurry.
Yeah, with
the flower. I have so many teams now. I have so many teams out west now. It's like it used to just be the Kings. Now I have the Flower in Vegas. I got Touche in Arizona. It's like I can just really hate Dallas now.
Right?
Just hate Dallas now. I don't like Hitchcock.
But have you been to the city of Dallas?
Oh, I love the city of Dallas. I mean, people love Austin. Overrated. I'll go to Dallas any day.
Austin's nice, but it ain't Dallas.
I lived in San Francisco for 20 years. Austin tries too hard. You can't try to be cool.
So are you?
It's like Portland. You're either cool or you're not.
You try too hard. What about? Are you a wine guy then? Living in that area? Are you a wine person?
I'm a whiskey guy.
Oh, you're a Crown Royal guy. I forgot.
Yeah, I like.
You are. I'm a Crown Royal.
Oh, I love the Crown.
Look where we're doing our show. Did you see the lovely Jess right there? You know what's in that bowl of cornflakes? I guarantee you it's Crown Royal. That's what's going on here. We also have this one of a kind when the A-list. So you're now A-list for us, just so you know.
Oh, sweet. I'm honored. This
Yes.
is awesome.
So open that up. That is the one of the official Raw Mike Richards mugs made by a good friend of ours.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, just so you know, it's called Dickswear. So when you tell people that, they're like, thanks, but don't know if I want to be drinking out of that. But there you go.
Thank you so much, man. This is awesome.
Oh, you're very welcome.
What?
Here we go.
We just become best friends? Yup. You want to go do karate in the garage? Yup. It's time!
And it was a great time here today. Joe Bartnick, thank you so much for coming in. By the way, are you going to be watching that McGregor fight?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course you are.
I just need someone to pay for it.
Oh,
No, not because I am not going to pay to watch McGregor fight Mayweather unless McGregor gets to hit him with a baseball bat 5 times.
well, don't be surprised if that happens. I got a feeling they're not that
Well,
far
these
away
press
from it.
conferences are hilarious. I'm waiting for someone to throw a folding chair. like Vince McMahon's jealous of all this.
Thanks so much, Joe. Remember, tomorrow we're going to have Will Strickland in. We'll talk a little NBA. We'll also talk about, he's got a tournament, and he wants to talk about UFC as well, so we'll do that. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching RawMikeRichards.com.
What? We just become best friends? Yup.